really secret stuff.
I'm glad that we stopped. Hey!
Hello and welcome to our bi-weekly Devstream. My name is Matt, and next to me is HB, and next to him is Mark. I hope you guys can actually hear us. You guys said voices in the chat, so I'm assuming I hit the right button at the right time this time. Let's just get started, because it's been 2 weeks. We had a zombie, cursed undead event, and Mark, take it away.
Cursed undead, yeah.
Not zombies.
Worked out better than we thought it would, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a success. We thought it would hold up for about a week, and it has. And tomorrow's the last day. So if you guys want to play the event, the Halloween event, the Dead Harvest,
It's the last chance
to play as a zombie, basically. It's your last chance to play as a zombie in Foxhole for a very long time. So tomorrow's the last day, and it is going to change up tomorrow. So something that we've done that we didn't talk about is that the undead in the Dead Harvest event actually have been getting stronger each day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not post anything about that?
I did post something, but I don't think anybody knew what the hell we were talking about.
Okay, because I remember writing something.
So every night at midnight, the zombies do get a bit more powerful. They could take more hits, and tomorrow it's going to be a much bigger jump. So tomorrow is kind of like hardcore mode, if you want to put a label on it, for the Dead Harvest event for the last day. So if you wanna try it out with a more challenging twist to it, tomorrow is going to be the day to do it, and then it's going to be gone, and then we're going to be back to World Conquest on Thursday, which I'm excited about because we've never taken this long a break before since World Conquest started. So it's also another cool special thing. You know, sort of like a nice break. Everyone is refreshed. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that as well. I think tomorrow's going to be fun. We know that the event doesn't hold up for more than a week because it's very small. We did it very quickly, but I think that by making them stronger, at least there's something new, and even maybe they're strong enough that the meta, the tank spam meta that is happening right now, will not be as effective because they're just that strong.
Right. Yeah. So that's interesting to see. And one thing we'd like to hear from you guys is how much you guys like this event. How much more of these type of events you guys want to see in the future,
or not
see. If you hated it, that's fine too.
Or if you hated it, tell us.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that people liked it, but I don't want to put words in your mouths.
Let's put words in people's
You
mouths.
liked it.
And we already have a lot of ideas on how we can bring this back in the future. I think that we can build on what we have, and I know Matt and I have talked about a couple of things on the subway about how it could be expanded out to be more Foxhole-like. And I don't know, there's a lot of things we can do. And it was what's interesting is that it was as fun. Like, I'm assuming at least some of you guys had fun. And
hopefully
it has been as fun for us to work on it. Hopefully, I feel.
Yeah, it was great. I had a blast working on it.
Play it. So.
It was weird, trying to come up with lore to make this somehow fit. That was a fun little challenge because Mark was like, "You should think of a name and how this is going to go together." And I was just like,
"Wait, does it have to go together?"
I was like, I don't.
Well, we thought it'd be really lame if it was just the
zombies,
zombie mode. It's not very Foxhole-like of us to do that. So.
I didn't get the opportunity to dig as deep as I wanted with all the lore stuff, but I think we still did a pretty good job. I think it was pretty cool. So we can expand that in the future, and stuff.
But the last week has been kind of cool. Now that this is sort of reaching its end, and especially for us, we've been working on other stuff already for a whole week now, and it's exciting because all this new stuff that's coming up towards the end of the year, we're really starting to ramp up on it, and I can tell you, I am so. How many times, Matt, this week have I said I'm so excited? You're probably sick of hearing me say that through chat. You would show me something, or someone else on the team would show me something, and I'm like, man, I'm so excited. I don't want to be too hyped because I tend to overhype myself, and then I let myself down. But man, genuinely excited about some of the stuff.
I think it's gonna be
It's
good.
gonna be cool. One last thing I wanted to say about the zombies was the Dead Harvest event. I gotta not get zombie out of my vernacular. I think one thing that was really cool is watching the Wardens and Colonials have to work together.
That was amazing.
It's just
And there was a lot of attrition in the beginning. Like I remember one kind of first couple days, like if Wardens and Colonials, in the very beginning of the days, well, like before the zombies actually start attacking, some people would like be a little bit more combative against each other, even though there's absolutely no friendly fire. You cannot kill a Colonial if you're a Warden, and vice versa. And then as soon as the zombies attack, everybody's like, okay, let's all get together and try to win. That was really fun.
Yeah, I loved working that into like the whole like lore behind it and everything. It's like they have to stop and work together, otherwise they're screwed. And I think it was really funny just in the chat now. People were like bitching at each other about how their defenses were better than the other factions and stuff. It's just like it never ends, man. Like even if we like force you to work together. Anyway, it was fun.
It was great.
Cool.
I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you for participating. Hopefully we can have more interesting surprises coming up. We'll see.
Cool.
Someone says next harvest we can get liches, ghouls, and other fantasy undead. Hey man, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
With our vertical, it's just very high.
It actually is. Yeah, it's really the limit. Anyway, let's move on to the next.
Yeah, let's go.
Are we gonna do community highlights, or do you have anything to follow up with, Mark?
Yes. Or
No, that's it.
that's it.
That's it.
Cool. Yep. You can.
Yep. Okay.
It's just that it's easy for me. Community highlights, snippets. Max, Crazy Flying Chicken is back and forth with the community highlights, and there's some really interesting stuff. I think there's like the level and the quality of and ingenuity of people producing things continues to astound me. So this first one really is quite impressive. This is Peyton Patton.
Oh shit.
11.99, and he made these three paintings. And they're sick. They're like so well done. Color is it's amazing. The lighting is like so moody and interesting. You can see.
So these are like original.
These are originals, yeah.
Ooh, damn.
I don't know if I don't know if it was photo bashing or not.
Right.
But
Looks like maybe a mix.
Maybe I think it is mixed media in general. But like they are originals, right? Really cool. Like really impressive.
Yeah, I like the airships. Is that like a secret hint for us to add?
It's like a hey, Dad.
That looks really cool.
That's a cool way to add.
Yeah, it looks like Morgan County, the top right corner.
Yeah,
right?
I like with the trees that are
This is awesome.
I thought it was so neat. You can see them in like a higher quality at the community highlights. It's totally worth checking out because I think this video is not making justice of like the color. Like the color composition is really well done. Like that bottom one with the soldiers coming out of like this kind of fog, it doesn't look as much in this monitor, but you can see the other one like this purple and green. It really pushes through like the lighting of the fire in the back.
You can see the Foxhole specific elements like the FMGs at the top, the left side of the top right corner piece, right? Is you can make out these Foxhole specific elements, which is really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was quite neat. Like you can definitely see a tank on the corner there. Yeah, no, it's really well done. Congratulations. The next one is also some really. When I said they were getting more intricate and more interesting, this is Turtle and Rabbit. He's done other stuff before. This time he decided to do Siva in City Skylines.
Oh, so that's what this is.
Yeah,
I was wondering what it was.
It's City Skylines, and it's a playable map.
That's really cool.
That it can actually you can have cities and stuff like that happening. So he was actually saying that hey, if you guys want to play with him in this map, to message him on Discord, because he was looking for people to play. I play City Skylines. I think this looks really amazing. It was so much fun. Third thing is a compilation of all the things that Commander Engineer did so far, like all his like Foxhole miniatures. You can see them all together. I just thought it was like a neat picture. You can see the evolution of them. Like, I think the front right one was kind of like the first one that he did, if I'm not mistaken. Then he did the guy in the back on the right, and then he did that amazing Warden soldier on the left.
Yeah, that's by far the best.
Yeah,
best one. It's really cool.
It's really cool. You can see how much more detail he can put in, because it's also a larger piece, right? It's a larger miniature as well. You can put much more detail. You can go crazy on like the wrappings and like the pockets and like even the detailing of the helmet and the gun and everything like that. It's quite interesting to have the comparison.
Yeah, it very closely matches the original concepts that we had for the Warden.
I know, right?
For the Warden soldiers.
Yeah, I think that even on that drawing, the guy had a mustache or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but
like right now they don't.
I think so.
Right now they don't have any differentiation in the face unless you change the skin color, but like they still don't have any different features. But I think eventually we toyed with the idea of having like different facial hair and stuff like that, and then we're like, you never see that.
Yeah.
This is the most.
Well, we thought also about having like a more intricate like sort of character profile. So it's like we've always it was always in the back of our mind, like how far will we go with that? Will we have like this screen that you log into at the beginning and you choose your guy, like this is my guy, and it shows like a 3D,
it's like a 3D composite or something like that.
Yeah, sort of like your average like MMO experience.
Yeah,
and you can change things, and
then realize that it's 5 pixels on the screen, so you're like, well, okay,
it
might not be as. Anyway, and the last thing was I just thought it was like something really funny for Halloween. Firk, he has his series of like animations that he does with his characters on that style. And then Adam once said that he's Captain Clapfoot.
Right.
For I don't even remember like the reason behind it, why he's Captain Clapfoot. But anyway, Firk used that concept, created the guy on the left, and then he himself made a Halloween costume of Adam as Clapton Cap. It's kind of it's so meta. It's weird, but I loved it, and I thought it was very fitting for our special Halloween Devstream, which is not Halloween Devstream.
I've never, it was in the realm possibility of someone cosplaying as a character in Foxhole, but cosplaying as a dev is something.
As a dev playing a character that is not actually a character in the game, but is a character based on the company itself. It's so fucking weird.
First for any game.
Maybe. I mean, I can't think of anything like this that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, this is weird. I'm waiting for my own mask in the mail anytime soon. Firk. It was awesome. Thank you very much for showing us all this, and
there's some technical issues that
apparently there's some jittery or something like that.
Okay.
Buzzing sound. Ooh. But anyway, we're gonna continue on.
Guess we should we pause or should we try to power through it?
I think we can power through. Like Matt is troubleshooting it right now.
Okay.
And he's yelling at some people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he just killed a.
Is there any issue, or should we continue going? Okay, cool.
There's a bit of a wobble on the stream that's coming from that PC, so we're just not going to worry about it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of the community highlights, and we can end the development update.
Great.
That we can start the development update.
Start the development. No, let's end it. That's it.
Yeah, all right.
It's the end of the year. I'm already on Christmas time, man.
No. So, what things are coming up?
Let's stop the vibration for a second.
What is going on again?
This stream's like, I don't know why, but like things are vibrating from the capture. I'm not sure what's causing it to happen, but
okay.
All right. Anyway, let's.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Anyways, I'll just ignore that vibration.
It's really distracting now that I pointed it out.
Yeah.
So this is the roadmap that we've been showing you guys for the since fall.
Yep.
And we're progressing so far, so good. Don't want to jinx it, but
man.
we've obviously
Famous last
done
words.
the big update 0.17. Changed a lot for Logi, for progression of the war, and a whole bunch of other things. The FCL season 3 started, still going strong. Be sure to tune in on that every Saturday. I think they just had their 5th week last
like
Saturday, I believe, which and so that's still gonna continue on. We obviously a short while ago put out 0.18 update, and the Halloween event's running right now as we speak.
Ending tomorrow, guys.
And last day is tomorrow, as we said, and we're closing in on 0.19 update. Well, actually, we're still sort of, technically speaking, we haven't had a conquest for 0.18 yet, so we're kind of at 0.18. But in a couple of weeks from now, still a bit off. We're gonna start thinking about or start the process of rolling out or the dev branch for 0.19.
Yeah, so like in development, like 0.19 is underway already.
Yeah. 0.19 development.
Technically 0.20 as well, a little bit.
Yeah, we've been working on 0.20 since this summer, technically. Yeah. So there's a lot going on there. So this is still planning to look forward to in November, things to keep things fresh, and then obviously the big update at the end of the year. And there's a couple of things that are under development that we want to share. First is some changes to resources, which is the refined fuel, and this is going to be used for a number of things in the game moving forward. So we're going to be like adding it soon, right? But you're not necessarily going to see its purposes that soon, if that makes sense. It's something that will definitely extends further into the future than its first launch, right? And basically, it is exactly how it sounds. You bring your fuel to the refinery, you turn it into refined fuel, and then the refined fuel is going to have a whole bunch of different purposes. It'll allow you to, for one, it'll be a lot more efficient than normal fuel. So for certain vehicles now, certain vehicles in the future that may consume a lot more fuel, it's going to definitely be a must, right? And another purpose that it's going to be used for is to power the tier 2 mines, right? So this is another thing that we're going to be introducing soon, is the upgraded versions of mines, and basically you build these these will be built in the form of a facility. Yep. So if you do this and you use your refined fuel, then you'll be able to yield a lot more resources than you yield now, and makes mines much more of a valuable strategic target, especially at the front, right? Where you can't necessarily do scrapping as effectively, right? So this is the concept for the tier 2 mines. It looks very similar to the tier 1 mine, except that a couple of visuals are changed, right? So here we also have the tier 2 scrap mine, and that kind of functions the same way. So one of the things that you'll see that will come from this is if you are running a supply line circuit, right? Then this kind of closes the final part of that circuit, which is you being able to like take your fuel, bring it to the refinery,
produce more,
and then from there, like the next time you come around, you can grab your refined fuel and then you bring it to these mines, and then they'll be much more effective than they are right now. Right? So this will really bring mines to its full like effectiveness, basically, that we had planned from the start, right? But this is something that also again happens like a little later down in the conquest. So things sort of like your logi just keeps getting more more and stronger as the war progresses.
And more efficient as well, not just strong,
Yeah.
but efficient. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's the refined fuel, the tier 2 mines, and the next thing I want to talk about is a very long-term project that we've been working on, and that a number of people at the studio have been working on. We've talked about it before in the past in roundtables. We've definitely kind of like touched on it, but the town revamp is basically something that we start working on like all the way early summer, maybe even earlier planning before that, late spring. And what it is essentially like a massive reworking of like all the town environments in the game and a bunch of other stuff in the world. And I'm not going to talk too much about it right now because
There's going to be a lot to talk about.
there's going to be a lot to talk about. And what we are going to be doing is we're going to be splitting up, because this is like such a big feature and there's so much to kind of like talk about. We're going to be splitting up the preview of this feature in the dev blogs into 3 different dev blogs that will be happening between now and closer to the end of the year, and it'll sort of break down exactly the entire process, sort of like the making of these new towns. We're really excited because not only is the output of this super exciting, but it's also been really exciting for us to actually work on this. So we can't wait to share about everything from the very beginning when we first started talking about it, to the concepts, to the testing, to there's just so much to talk about, and I can't wait. I know, Matt, this has been like a huge part of your job for the last like couple of months. So I'm sure you're really excited about it.
There's
too.
a lot to show, but not yet. And so
Yeah.
but we're gonna slowly dole out some information. I think these dev blogs are gonna be fun. We're gonna get the core members that have been working on this project talking about it, like Julian, Anthony, and myself. And first you're gonna see some more cool concept art like this, but we'll dig into that as we go forward further.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It should be pretty exciting. And people are saying not even a screenshot. No, you're not so lucky.
Yeah. That will come. So anyways, that is it for the development update, and we'll move on to live Q&A.
Awesome.
All right, guys, start asking questions. Ask those questions. By the way, thank you everybody who asked questions for the last dev blog. You guys actually asked some good questions.
That's like schizophrenic Matt. Like he just totally went from like very calm to
Excited.
Yeah, excited.
overly excited.
So just so everybody knows, every once in a while I'll throw up a thread in Discord. I'm not doing it today. I'm just kind of talking about it while I'm waiting for questions. But I'll throw up a thread in Discord, and then people can ask questions, and maybe they'll get answered in a longer form in the dev blog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know when the dev blog first went up, a few images were missing. I was literally like referencing images, and then
That were not there?
Image, and it was like, I'm sure you can tell from this cool thing, and then like there was nothing there. So I apologize for that. Hopefully you guys have seen it. Let me see if there's a question. Where do I get HB's hat? Start with a banger.
Halloween stores.
What Halloween store in specific? I want you to be detailed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. One at Queen Street on Toronto. Near Spirit Halloween, but not Spirit Halloween.
Are there any other civilian vehicles planned, like the truck?
Wait, trucks? What do you mean? Trucks a civilian village?
Or
Or
motorcycles?
Or or is he talking about like those cars that are destroyed on the streets?
Let's say both.
Okay. I'll answer the first part. Maybe you can answer the second part, Matt. For the first part, in terms of Logi vehicles, like trucks and things like that, yes, there's going to be more planned. I think there's 2 in my mind that I know we've been thinking about. And something that's kind of related to that is lately we've been, we felt like we've been through this long period of problem solving for the better part of this year, like world conquest, player operations, these real responsible, what we feel like responsible features that we need to work on, we need to get in. But what we've been doing lately is sort of going back to the very beginning of the project and remembering the really cool and exciting ideas that we had at the beginning that it's easy to lose track of later on the project because, you know, you start to get a little worn down. You start to get, you're dealing with 100 problems every day. But it's important to go back to the very beginning and be like, what were those things that we're really excited about at the beginning, right? And sometimes these things are not even solving any problems, but they're really exciting. And to go back to what I was saying, a couple of these Logi vehicles that we're really excited about at the beginning, that wouldn't really solve any immediate crucial problem, but were just really cool. Like we're thinking about putting some of those back on the table again. I can't wait till we get to that. So the other half in terms of the cars and stuff in the world, Matt.
Sure. When we get to it, like, I mean, there's nothing stopping. Like, I think the thing with like static assets is
scenario.
It's just like 99% of the time, I'll go to the art guys and be like, I really need something for this one particular thing I'm trying to do, and then they'll make it, and then it gets used 100 more times because it's a huge game. But eventually, that's how we got the cars in the first place. Is I really wanted a series of different kind of cars. You'll remember if you're around for a while, we had just that old beat up like sedan that we had for a while.
It was everywhere.
It was just everywhere because like cars are in cities and towns and stuff. And
well, there's one thing that we wanted to do, Matt, was to just add a car in the city that you can fix up and just use. Yeah, but there's no functional purpose. I think little things like that, Matt, when we have time, is where we need to spend some time on this sort of like on these little things that just are cool and they add to the whole concept, but they're not like crucial. They're not going to fix Logi or fix any, fix combat or fix any major feature, right? So,
and I think like as we get closer and closer to 1.0, whenever that may be, you'll start to see more and more like just little things as opposed to these big sweeping things that we've been doing for so long. And I'm excited about that. That leads me to my next question about Gigaboss. Will we have a terrain revamp because it's very plain and not fleshed out? So one thing that I want to say about that is like, do you ever think about maybe that there's like a reason why it's a little bit like kind of more empty out in the wilderness? Well, the reason for that is so that you can build things because you actually have to have room for that. Now, in terms of the way it looks, we're always going to be like improving it until we're told to stop. So we'll continue making it look better. We'll continue doing stuff. Coming up soon, we're going to be doing some polish on that stuff. I know, Crazy Fried Chicken's really passionate about that, and he's done really cool stuff with like Fisherman's Row. So there's more and more of that will happen. We'll have more textures and more assets and things. But yeah, you also need to be able to build. So we can't clutter it full of stuff. We can't have just like tons and tons of detail and depth everywhere because then you can't build anything. And yeah, I think I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, Mark.
Well, I think a lot of the town revamp changes will spill over into parts of the environment that will address that particular comment. So look forward to that, and I think it's a valid like feedback. So we'll continue making it better. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, like that. I think just to sort of talk more about like the environment stuff in general, we're going to continue to make it better. In general, just as HB's continue to make the animations better, as the UI's gotten better, arguably I guess, the UI's gotten better, the Logi's gotten better, we're going to continue to make things better and better and better and listen to your feedback and listen to things. So, just keep watching out. Let's ask another question. Timberwolf says, eye-level screenshots are always interesting to see. Any plans around those? Like a free camera?
Like when you have a free camera or when they break the camera of the game. Maybe we actually talked about this a little bit before because we find them interesting as well, but it's a completely new game. If we were, let's say we were to change to like a first person.
Oh,
game.
They're asking about doing a first person camera.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
He said eye level camera, so a first person.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought they meant like a screenshot camera.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a whole separate thing too, because you could have a camera that is a little bit more dynamic for taking screenshots. But
but like then you have to take into account like how the people don't abuse that, and what kind of and the assets don't hold up to scrutiny at a close range, because they have sometimes weird proportions because they are made for a top down. There's a lot of things that like don't really help with.
Well, there's also like besides the gameplay reasons, like we've always said we like top down because it adds to the strategic feel, right? Like it almost feels like a real-time strategy game where every unit in the game is controlled by a player, right? And I think bringing it to first person, like what you're saying, will change that.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think that there are these like intangibles too. Like we've always liked the idea that it feels like a miniature scene, right? Sort of like a tabletop type of like feel, and I think these are these intangibles that I don't think we'd ever want to change it on Foxhole, right? So,
I think, and furthermore, even for screenshots, like it's cool. I love seeing them when the camera breaks and we get these like cool shots and stuff. But of course, like HB was saying, our game just doesn't.
It doesn't hold up.
It wasn't built for that. It was built to be seen from the top down. So like things seem shorter than they should.
And then we have a skybox that works for top down, but it doesn't work for first person at all.
The skybox is just gray, which is just intended for like a reflection capture. It's the only reason it exists. Otherwise, it might just be black. So there's like a lot of things like that. Like we could build a skybox, but that's almost a waste of time because you're not going to see it.
So there's no plans for it.
So yeah, to answer the question simply,
no. Sorry.
So. I am not going to try to pronounce this game. I'm going to call you Elo. Will there be any buildings you have to capture in order to capture the whole city, like strategic points in Battlefield?
Can we turn our game more into Battlefield, Mark?
Well, I hate the thought of that, first of all. But and we're not a really big fan of. I mean, you can argue that the town halls are kind of like capture points, but we're not big fans of like you have to stand beside this flag and capture this flag to sort of claim this point, right?
Unless that's the mode that we're playing, if it's an event or something. But other than that,
like events are separate.
Yeah,
we can do anything and we don't really care about that for the main game. But I do think that having more important structures in the town and having that play a key role in capturing towns is something that we're very interested in doing. Because right now you just have this town hall and you sort of like, once the town hall is kind of like taken out, then like the battle's over. Well, I mean, not always, but for the most part it's over. But what we'd like to see is that when you take out the town hall, it's not over yet. And to add elements to towns to increase the chances of a Stalingrad type of situation where you have a prolonged battle back and forth in a single town is definitely, I think, something we want to push for moving forward. Right?
Yeah. Although there is something to be said for the concept that in order for you to capture a town hall for your team, you don't have to necessarily destroy the enemy's town hall. You could potentially invade, let's say if it was a castle or something like that, like in medieval times. You don't destroy the castle itself, you kill everybody, and then you have that already built. There's something to be said, and maybe we can figure out more of a way of doing that for Foxhole that might fit the game a little bit, but just standing around and like a timer ticks up, it's like that's not really the Foxhole way.
Yeah.
So I think in that case, no. But maybe the concept of not having to destroy the town hall to capture is somehow, as long as it doesn't break the core concept of Foxhole, that's debatable. That's something that we could potentially think about.
Crater7 asks, has there been any progress on super weapon, in quotes, projects? I remember back around Westgate, it was talked about a lot, but we never saw anything in game. I think Westgate itself is a bit of an opportunity that we missed too at the time, because I think we had more planned exactly for what Westgate Keep was going to be.
Yeah, so I think this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, like, I remember even Westgate Keep, like, we didn't 100% get it where we wanted to.
Yeah. So following up with what I was saying earlier on, going back to a lot of the original things that we were really excited about, I think that this question kind of really touches upon that.
Yeah.
I think that something like Westgate Keep was, a great example. We talked about a lot. We were really excited about the idea of it having a really big like artillery cannon at the top of it. I think that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That we're rebalancing. I can say that we're sort of rebalancing our focus so that whereas most of this year maybe it was like 80% problem solving and 20% stuff that's cool, I think we're kind of trying to rebalance to like 50% just working on cool shit, and the other 50% is, of course, we always have to like problem solve, right? And fix things. And I think that plus some of the other super weapon type of content is coming back on the table. So I look out the next while. I hate to be vague, but just be on the lookout for the not too distant future for some of this cool stuff to come back. Yeah.
I mean, surprise! Game devs want to do cool shit, right?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, man. As you know, like it's so easy. Like we get bombarded by 1,000 issues every day from all areas, and it's so easy to only do that, right?
Yeah, and I think like something that like as I've done this for longer and longer now, the thing that I start to realize is you do sort of have to just like have some patience too, because it'd be really easy. Like I'm not gonna say relatively easy. It's for us to go and add a whole bunch of just cool weapons and items and just a whole bunch of content and be really excited about it. But like we do have to have some patience because they're like core fundamental things that we're unhappy with in the game that we're slowly working on, right? So like having that patience means that when we get there, it's going to be even better. And that's the process. That's something I really like about working on an early access game that's like really, really in development, not like almost done and then you just kind of like put it out early, because that does happen. We've really developed this game right in front of your eyes, and you guys have seen it change dramatically multiple times.
Oh god, compared with the first release.
Yeah. So like for me, that's the really exciting part, is sort of watching this process, and I can't wait to get some really cool shit in the game.
Right. And sort of speaking to that patience, I think we are rounding somewhat of a corner where we're starting to get to some of that stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of cool shit, Maybar asks, have you guys thought about a whole region consisting of just one big city? Could be the middle region where Wardens have their capital, which sounds like a bigger city than just Abandonward. That's cool.
That would be actually pretty sweet.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, I think that could be that'd be really difficult.
It would make it for a completely different scenario, like that whole map, one giant city in the middle, like with alleyways and stuff like that, like making sure that you have a half track like incursion that happened this past few days. Like it would be harder for you to maneuver and things like that. That would like throw the whole map.
It would be very claustrophobic.
Ooh. Yeah.
And the garrison houses would be hell.
Yeah.
I think
but then you tactically start advancing like one step at a time, and like just literally like you conquer one corner and then you can like fortify that, and then you can move a little bit more. That could be so cool. And then you have like different passages through the house if you know the layout of the land really well.
In a lot of ways, that sounds like a bit of a different game, though.
But it sounds cool.
It does sound really cool. I think that city, like based on like Foxhole logic, that city would be like goddamn enormous. Because if you think about like the sort of fake distances that we have between towns now, we sort of are emulating like long distances between spaces using sort of less distance and less sort of space. So like for my brain, the way I think about it, that's like a really big city, like enormous. Like the size of like Sao Paulo or something. Like
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think you're underestimating the size of some of these cities. Maybe something like New York.
Well, New York's like relatively small compared to like some places in the world, though, in terms of like actual distance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's pretty big when you are in there.
Yeah.
Really big.
Anyway, so I think it's a really cool idea, though. Like, I'm not going to shoot it down because who knows what could happen. But
yeah, but maybe one map. Like, let's say we have an island that for some reason there's like a huge,
it's just like
a huge bustling like city and like a giant in one island.
I mean, there's also like, it's not all or nothing. We could end up doing towns that are a lot bigger than it's possible, right? I'm not saying this is what we're doing, but it's possible that we have more variation. So like we do have towns that are a bit larger than the ones that we have right now. That maybe won't be the whole map, but it will give you some of that like extended urban type of feel, right? So that's something.
Yeah, I think like maybe like revisit that question to yourself after you see the town revamp too, because you might definitely get that feeling like Mark was saying in some places, but I don't know. I think it's
we got time for one more.
I think it's really interesting. Yeah, I think we got time for a couple more. So Smokage has a similar question, which I think is really interesting. Any thoughts about adding additional map grids instead of just adding to the current grid? It would give you all time to go back and rework the entire grid.
Wait,
so
what?
I think he means like the current like front, like to go to a different place and create a new grid.
Like you open up an area?
Like a totally different like front that has nothing to do with like Siva and Veli. Like just go.
Oh, you mean like actually having like a separate
grid?
So like one of the pie in the sky type of ideas that we have is that, and this is I can talk about it because it's like so far away, and by then no one is going to remember what the hell I said now.
Oh yeah, don't count on that, Mark. The internet always remembers.
It's a pie in the sky idea. This is not planned. This is just something we think is cool that we've thought about. Is having after 1.0, working on another like a whole other theater of war, so that so that in between the conquests you actually switch to an entirely new theater of war that feels different, that's entirely fresh. That's an idea that really excites us, but you know, it's pie in the sky right now. We'll see. I won't even say we'll see. It's more like it's pie in the sky. We like it. It's exciting.
You have enough room on the world map to fit a grid above and below. I mean, we can do anything.
Yeah. And who says that that's the farthest zoom that we have on the map? We can just zoom out.
We're looking at like a country, maybe two countries, if you look at like the old world map concept of like a world. So anyway,
could be cool.
Will there be sewers and canals in the cities?
Huh?
Probably. Like I don't want to like speak too soon, but probably nothing you can like enter. But there might be like evidence of a sewer system, like a reservoir system. I don't think you're gonna. I think like one of the big challenges that we have tested and tried and done a whole bunch of things with is sort of layered environments, like layered buildings going up to the second floor and the first floor at the same time, and having all that stuff. And that's tough with our camera. It doesn't work as well as we'd like, so we're not going to see too much of that, but there will be a little bit. So I think something like a sewer system that's like underground completely, probably don't expect that, at least right away.
Maybe you see more manholes on the floor?
But you see some manholes, I guess, so there are proof of sewers. I want you guys to ask a better question. We have room for one more question, but all the questions are bad right now. Can you switch the warden and colonial starter regions every 2 to 3 wars? No.
There's technical reasons for that, and
also it just breaks the lore.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say no. Here, Mark. Croter asks, will the world conquest victory condition change in the future? Markfoot was talking about reworked mechanic where players would choose the victory towns.
You know that they're not set in stone.
So the question,
Will the world conquest victory condition change in future? You were talking about a rework mechanic where players could choose the victory towns.
I was. Maybe
I think
I think you mentioned
it as a
this.
possibility.
Yeah, you mentioned it before in a possibility in which, like, let's say three of the towns of this map have to be the victory towns, but they're not preset.
Okay.
Like maybe it's something that the other side has to build or has to be set, and then that can change a lot of the pacing of the war.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that I think we are looking for ways to. We definitely don't think that the victory condition right now is going to be the one forever, right? We have already played around with that, like, you know, you don't need all of them, or I think there is room to move around there to try different things. Even there have been crazy ideas thrown around, like even the possibility that rather than having to just claim a whole bunch of them, you have to build up one per region, but building up one means like a significant effort, and like some sort of high stakes type of situation, right? Kind of like building up the capital of a region has also been talked about too. So I don't know where right now. It's not clear where that's going to end up, but I definitely think that there's room to move around there.
I'm going to ask two more questions. One keeps coming up. And I guess I just want to know if it's like on your radar. 1280 by 1024 resolution allows you to see further. Is that something we're going to fix?
I think that that one's a bit hard, because when you say fix, like, that can mean a bunch of different things, because right now
I think they mean specifically fix it so that you can't see further than 1080 by.
Right. So I think one of the misconceptions about that specific issue is there is a difference. So for sure, I want to say there's a difference between that resolution and not. But there's also something we enforce on the networking side that we don't actually show. Like, the client doesn't ever get information about a player that's outside a certain radius. So like, I think it's an issue. So I'm not disagreeing that it's an issue, but I think the issue is a lot more. It seems a lot worse than it actually is, because mostly everyone can only actually see like what's around them, because literally we don't transmit the data for the players that are further out. Now, there have been bugs in the past. I know of some, because I know some of you are going to cite like, oh, well, I remember back in this update, like, you know, you could see the gunboat really far. So there is specific stuff where those rules don't apply. So in those cases, it's a problem. But a lot of it is you get to see more of the environment. That's definitely something, but you don't necessarily see like a player further away in a lot of cases. I think in terms of trying to fix that more comprehensively, I think the answer is that we just have to spend time on figuring out the best way to do that, because we could just put these black bars in there, which would suck for people playing at that resolution. But then at the same time, yeah, there was a difference. So it's a really tough thing. Like, I think that you know, other games have similar issues by changing. You know, whenever you're on the PC, so much different type of hardware that you know, if you have a real-time strategy game, okay, well, you can see more, right? So it's something that we have to take a look at a couple more times. I do know something that we have fixed is there was an issue where you could change your window to have a really extreme vertical profile, but in those cases we do put a black bar. So at least that part of it is definitely fixed. So
cool. Thank you for your answer. JSK1 asks, will there ever be personal player progression to keep people coming back every war? Currently, burnout after war is very strong and could cause people not to play for the next couple of wars. Ranks are meaningless. Any thoughts or ideas of making personal progression more meaningful and active?
Yes, but that has come up a lot, and we've given that a lot of thought. I think that that's something that we will take a look at, but I don't think it's something that is the most important thing to be working on right now. And it's always come up, and we consider it, okay, maybe it is a really important thing that we should work on right now. But then we've always sort of, after thinking about it a bit further, in terms of what Foxhole is, like, ultimately, it's that can be a good part of the game, but that's not the most special part about Foxhole, right? Like, there are other games that can do that can and do that way better than we'll ever do it, right? If you play a progression game like World of Warcraft or a game like Destiny, where it just kind of, here's your loot, you progress, you get higher levels, you keep going, you just play that for like months and months on end. Sure, you go back to it. I mean, you burn out in your own way on those games, but Foxhole is never going to be that type of game where your main hook is to come back for that, number bump or whatever, right? And we rather focus our time and energy on things that Foxhole can do that other games don't do, right? Like stuff like making logi better, adding to the strategy, like, adding elements to the game that really make you feel like you're part of a massive war, right? Is where the focus will be. Now, having said all that, I do think that we would definitely seriously consider stuff like maybe things like medals, and other things to sort of show your like accomplishments, but I don't think that will ever be where the majority of our time and energy is spent on, right? It's been a real reason why I talk about this so much is because it's been a pretty big philosophical struggle for us too, and like it's just something where we're worried we could risk trying to be a game that is not Foxhole, right?
Yeah.
And spending our energy in the wrong place, right?
And it's not like we have incentives to put in like loot boxes and stuff to earn or anything. Like we don't have those kind of incentives that some other games do. If you know what I'm getting at.
And
right? Like,
yeah. And I think too, sorry, just one last thing. And to sort of speak to playing a couple of wars and then being like burnt out because maybe you lost and you don't have something to show for. I think that I take that problem a lot more seriously. I don't take the proposed solution as seriously. So like I think if you are like burnt out, I think there are other ways that we can play to our strengths to try to make that better, right? So I sort of like, I'm with you on the problem. I think we should definitely devote energy to fixing that problem, but I don't know if that solution is necessarily like adding more things like progression, right? Yeah.
Well, just to cap it off, it's kind of interesting when they say like, oh, right now ranks are meaningless, which to a certain extent, yes, they are, but in several ways, Foxhole is a very unique game in which we kind of want it to be meaningless. We purposely step away from making you feel special, which is usually what most games try to do. It makes you feel like it's more of a power fantasy in so many ways. This is my character. I'm feeling special because I'm playing this guy with this coat and I have this weapon and this style. It's not that we're trying for you not to feel good when you're playing or anything like that, obviously, but we are constantly fighting the concept that you are just one more pawn on this huge army. You were just one more guy that at any moment you could, yes, die. So the concept of making you stronger because you played more, it's a little bit against of what Foxhole is, in which you're like just one tiny cog on this giant machine.
Not even like stronger, even just like more special, like
a shinier.
Like somehow like you dressed better because.
And
it's doable. It's not totally against Foxhole. I'm sure that there are ways in which if you really, if the game really requires, and if you think that this is something that's gonna bring more cohesion to the game, we're gonna do it. But the typical progression systems and the typical rewards that games in general give to players for playing more, in most cases, I'm not saying all cases, in most cases in Foxhole would feel against the whole concept of the game, which is almost a social experiment of like, can all these random people work together even though they don't know each other, or even if they do, they don't agree with each other, things like that. It's
absolutely,
it's very particular and weird, hard.
I think you put it really well, and as you can tell, it's something we struggle with a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not black. The answer isn't black or white.
Yeah.
Right. It's many shades of gray that we have to struggle with constantly when it comes to that question. So
I actually didn't think this was going to be such a long answer.
It's a great. It was a great question, by the way. It was a really good question.
It's hard to answer because even when it comes up kind of like among the team, we will take both sides of sort of, we stand on both sides of that fence, and then there's a struggle, and we have to be like, okay, well, ultimately we have to kind of like go really deep.
Yeah, it's like, what is the core fundamental of our game? And if this is something, I know we talked about this in previous dev streams, but we have core tenets in our game that with every single decision that we make, and sometimes you guys, it's very common, like, we make a decision that in the eyes of a lot of people, like, oh, this is making the game worse, which for that particular person might even be true. It's like, oh, it's not the game that I liked anymore. Sure, but every time we try very hard to go back to those fundamentals and see what is that we're trying to do with this game. What does it make Foxhole special? And you guys can tell us, like, look, this is not working for the game. This is not whatever you guys did on this update. It's not good or bad. It's not working for the game. And if you give us good reason, we will take into that consideration and think, like, is this person like touching into something that we haven't thought out because we are straying away from the core concept of our game.
Yeah.
We do have those conversations a lot, and particularly when we add anything, but also when we see the feedback. And something like progression is something that we have been discussing ever since literally the conception of the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know. I don't think
that was awesome.
I was going to ask another joke question, but I'm going to hold it for next time.
Why not? Ask it. Let's end this on a less serious note.
Bring back reprimands. All right. So, HB YouTube.
Yes. Thank you for this amazing last question that you just gave us, Matt. But if you want to see this and you're watching it on YouTube and you want to ask amazing questions like that last one that Matt just said, catch us on Twitch. It's every second Tuesday, every 2 Tuesdays bi-weekly at 2 p.m. EST on twitch.tv/Foxhole Game. I always forget the URL. But if not, join us on Discord and come talk to us. We have. I don't think I ever told people on from YouTube that we have on Fridays. We have the roundtable. Roundtable? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Which is literally like we join on Discord and like a bunch of us. Mark is always there. A bunch of us are there to just talk about anything, ask questions, talk about the latest game that you're playing, meet a bunch of new people. It's just fun to do it. So yeah,
cool.
Anything else, Matt?
Let's wrap this up.
Nothing this week.
Join the event. It's the last day that you can play the event. If I post this too late, I'm sorry. If this is past Halloween day today, I'm sorry.
And World Conquest starts Thursday.
Yes, this Thursday.
Cool.
See
All right, everybody. Have a good couple of weeks and
Happy Halloween.
stay spooky.